Right now, it's time to talk a little NFL. Let's look inside the NFC East. Amani Toomer. You can listen to Amani on NBC Sports Radio, the 24/7 live sports talk network, NBCSportsRadio.com. Welcome back, Amani. What's up, buddy?
Oh, nothing much.
All right, man. Let's get into it. Eagles-Giants this past weekend, and obviously a lot of talk about the 61-yarder, the way you lose that game. But off the field, what's happening in New York right now, you don't hear much from ownership. Typically in New York, it's a well-run organization, but what's your opinion on what the Giants should be doing now with Beckham, the way this thing is kind of spiraled this week?
Yeah, I think they should learn from their experience with Jeremy Shockey and try to get on top of this. I think this is much overdue in terms of, I just don't know what the point of a lot of the stuff that Odell Beckham is doing. So it's really hard for me to kind of figure out what he's doing and why he's doing it. So, yeah, I think the Giants definitely need to step in and kind of let him know where they stand and let him know that this is not acceptable, because I think that will stop it.
Does this kind of tell you there's a leadership problem on that team? Where the owner has to kind of finally step in and say something?
Well, I think Odell Beckham is such an important figure on that team that it's going to have to take somebody like the owner or the head. Usually the head coach would step up and say something, but
right.
Obviously that didn't happen. So I guess this is the best. I guess it's the best. It's going from the absolute top. That to me is the best. When the ownership can sit up there and make a consistent effort and say, hey, look, this guy's going to have to calm down.
Yeah, I think I saw something today. 8 flags since he's been in the league. He's the third most penalized player in the league. That's hard to do when you're a wide receiver. Amani Toomer here, Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. So with the loss, 0-3, Amani, what's the mood in New York? Do you feel like this team, they did it a couple of years ago when they got off to the horrible start, ripped off a bunch of wins. Does this team feel different, though? Do you feel like the Giants season is pretty much done?
No, it's not done. I think the fact that they played well. I think the fact that they played well in the fourth quarter, I think that's kind of the team that we're used to seeing. I just think it took them a little longer to get where they needed to be. So, it's kind of a little bit late, but you are starting to see the team that everybody expected to do in New York.
They finally scored, offensively, a couple touchdowns in the late in the game against the Eagles. What you think of the Eagles' run game? 39 for 193. Eagle fans have been asking for it. They finally saw it. Is that the recipe for Eagles' success?
Absolutely. I think the fact that they ran the ball on such a good run defense in the Giants, I think that's important. I think giving the ball to LeGarrette Blount was one of the main issues, and I think he really was the catalyst to everything. I think he needs to get a lot of credit for the way he runs and kind of how his running style kind of went on and bled into the rest of the running backs, and I think the way that they ran was very impressive.
They lost a running back, Darren Sproles. Obviously, what kind of play? He's top 10. I think he's number 10 all-time total yardage. Number 9? Well, that's a fascinating number. When someone told me that stat the other day, that in the entire NFL, that guy's top 10 in total yards.
Yeah, you played for 13 years and you return kickoffs and punts. I'll get it to you.
Yeah, man. He's a big loss for the Eagles, losing Sproles. Give us, the listeners, a little insight, Amani, what it's like in these kind of weeks. Philadelphia's going to L.A. When you're the East Coast team traveling across the country. Can you kind of give us a little insight what that's like for you guys? We hear so much about East Coast, West Coast coming east. What is these kind of weeks like when you got to go out to the West Coast?
It's fun. You get a chance to leave a day earlier, usually, spend a little extra time on the road. You get a chance to see the cities, actually, because most of the time you just see the plane, the runway, the hotel, the bus, the stadium, the hotel. It's just kind of like it's very routine, but it little breaks the routine. It's good. It's fun.
Actually, Eagles are going to leave on Saturday. They announced they're going to try to stay on East Coast time, so they're just going to do basically what you said there, kind of keep it very business-like, no sightseeing out there. Last one for Amani Toomer here. We saw Dak Prescott. I was thoroughly impressed. Did Dak kind of move himself into another tier the other night, the way he played? Do you now look at him and say, this guy doesn't have to sell me anymore? He is I don't know. I don't want to say, but he certainly has earned the accolades there. That guy impressed me on Monday night.
Yeah, he's definitely an impressive quarterback. He's always been impressive. It's just everybody's, including myself, is like, yeah, can he be this good? Can he be this good? And the answer is yes. He is as good as advertised, and he's been an unbelievable quarterback ever since he's gotten the league.
Right, kind of erased a lot of doubts that people had about, I need to see more from this guy. He played really well in the second half of the season. Amani Toomer here. Listen to him on NBC Sports Radio, the 24/7 live sports talk network. You can listen at NBCSportsRadio.com. Amani, always a pleasure, pal.
Thank you.